I hate sports, but if you put Mario in it, totally play it. And that goes double if it also includes Sonic, even though we barely get them. Which, if you're all familiar with Mario and Sonic teaming up, you'd instantly think of the Olympic Games. Which, despite being minigame collections, I think was one of the best things to come out of video games, oddly enough. My first game in the series were the Winter Olympics in Vancouver. Or the one I really started playing. I played Beijing, but Vancouver really got me into the Olympics. And as a learning kid, I would do the most straightforward thing. Play the single player mode. Festival mode was sort of a good thing to include because not only would it help showcase certain events that I would love, but it would show me to new characters I have never seen before. Yeah, this was one of my earliest Sonic games where I didn't know many of the Sonic characters. I only knew Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, Amy, and Shadow. The basics for every early teenager getting into Sonic. Now, what do I mean by new characters? Like, I could have just looked them up when they were on the roster. What do I mean? Well, that's where, in Festival mode, there are certain times there is a rival boss battle. The first one you fight is King Boo, which was pretty standard for me. A Mario enemy that I've seen in Minecraft Wii despite not having feet. But another early one was Omega, which to me, he looks like a robot. And sounds like one too. Never heard of the dude. Or bot. But hey, later on someone is driving me to snowboarding? Huh. I don't know anyone who would be into that genre in Mario, so let's see who it is.
No sweat.
I'm sorry, but this guy looks sick, okay? Like, the shoes look amazing, and those glasses, or goggles on his head? This design looks amazing. His voice sounds snarky, and that has more attitude than Sonic that I've heard of. Well then, let's face him. His name is Jet? Okay, let's go ahead against him. And wow, he's really bad. Well, this is an easy win, and wait a minute.
Let's go.
What is this theme? Why does it go like? Why does it sound so serious but it's full of hype? And I don't even get to hear it for that long. It just, who is this guy? The rival battles in the Olympics aren't the best, but what has to be the best part is the music. There are characters on there who don't really have a distinct like theme based on a game previously. They're just made to reflect their own personality, which is what Jet's really does. And so therefore, when I heard Jet's rival theme, I was lost in trance on how good it was. Which later prompted me to go and get Sonic Riders Zero Gravity and learn more about the character. Which I still have my original copy to this day. Which also made me so excited to see him again as a rival in London. Which, when I heard about the rivals being back through thumbnail spoilers, I had to go in and see what Jet's event would be. Of course, this required a lot of attempts in the party and a chance to even get Jet, but I finally found him. By this time, I had known more about Jet, and how his voice got downgraded, but I was still excited to see how they would handle Jet. This is the Summer Olympics, so I didn't know what they were going to do with Jet. And then I saw Dream Discus, and it all clicked again. And then Jet's theme was remixed and made even better! The race across Windy Valley riding on a giant board like Discus with the theme playing was one of the best moments in Mario and Sonic Olympics game. And that's when things went downhill. I feel like Jet has had some of the most wasted potential in the past 3 Olympics game. London, I think, still has not been matched as the best Jet boss fight, as dumb as that sounds. Let's start with the one right after London, Sochi. Which, it's back to the Winter Olympics, and you do fight him in another snowboarding level. But, it doesn't feel like you're going against him. The entire origin of Jet's character was a racing series, which was all about, well, speed. Giant Slalom was a good pick for snowboarding, but you barely can see Jet when you're racing down to the bottom. If anything, you're not even looking at him past the first 10 seconds. And also, you can only fight him by going through an entire certain section of the single player, which, by the way, takes way too long to get to the boss fight. You go through 4 different events. 3 of them can take from 5 minutes to over 10 minutes. You go through boss fight at the start, which is pretty fast. But then you play 3 other events that are so long because they are either on a timer, or they just take too long in general. Similar scrimmage is based on scoring goals by guiding a ball into a goal. You hold a snow gun and fire or charge at the enemies who are trying to get through, which is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. But that's just the timer and not the amount of replays you have to do. The next is curling, which takes forever in itself, and considering I had another round added, it did not help with my time. And finally, there's Snow Day Street Hockey. It's ice hockey that takes place in Delfino Plaza. I like Delfino Plaza, but every set is 2 minutes long, and that's doubled because you're fighting on both sides against the enemy. And after all those events that took a long time to get to, we finally encountered Jet in a snowboarding race that only lasts about 40 seconds. Okay, we get to hear the amazing theme, but we at least have a few characters who have interacted with Jet, right? Oh, wait, it's these 2. Come on! So, you can choose between Daisy, Shadow, Luigi, and Vector. Which again, you're not even fighting as someone who has interacted with Jet in his own series. Shadow was always an inaugural character in the first 2 Riders. In the 3 Riders, they only really interact 1 time. Then there's Vector, who was also in 3 Riders, but barely talks to Jet. If anything, it would have made more sense to add Tails, Knuckles, or even Eggman if Sonic wouldn't be available. In London, sure you can run into him as someone else, but you can at least revisit it in the menu and choose your character that way. But I will give Searchy credit for one thing though. And it's that you can actively choose to play his theme in any of the events by changing the music. Which goes perfectly with the Winter Sports Champion race. Which, while I have your attention with this is the best part of Sochi. Not even joking, this is the best part of the entire game. Actually, I'll say it's even the best event in all of the Olympics. Being able to go through an entire island race swapping between the different options has got to be one of the best ideas for a sport in Mario and Sonic. Next up we have Rio, which you can get a chance of facing him once more. And he fights you in football. Or soccer. Or bad game choice. Okay, look, I get it, how most of the events in Rio don't fit the design of the whole, extreme sports vibe. Oh wait, but there is, with the BMX event, which, oddly enough, they added Wave to it instead of Jet. Which, while Wave being playable in the Olympics is cool, Jet was already a part of the series, and really? Football was his boss fight? Football? An event about moving on your feet and scoring goals? If anything, the ones for track would have made more sense as they're based on how fast you can get to the end. But nope, football. I guess on one hand, you get to play as Jet, only in the event though. Okay, they have one more show out of this. Tokyo 2020, they added surfing and skateboarding. Skateboarding has to be Jet's main event. He can finally be playable in this board game that's in the most. It's football again. It's football again, come on! Okay. As far as surfing, having Rosina be the guest star for surfing, I can sort of understand. She's the more elegant one, which, while gymnastics would have fit better, surfing suits too. But you mean to tell me that in the only Olympics where they actively added the most extreme sport with a character whose whole origin is based around racing on a hoverboard and doing tricks in the air, they still have Jet in football? I know this is the inner writer's bias in me coming out and saying this as a Sonic fan. This just isn't insulting. I know that it's odd to say this about a state game where Mario and Sonic characters are competing in the Olympics, but not being faithful to the character who's supposed to act a certain way to disregard them was just kind of sad. But to summarize all of this, I miss writers. That's it. That's the whole point of the video. That's the whole point. It's just me saying I miss writers. Okay, bye.
Sorry sorry, but I cannot see Metal Sonic doing this.
I can't even see him doing it. How funny does it look?
No comment.
I'm trying to look at the same time.
Maybe it's best you don't.